Talking in English is a common goal for many people around the world. It's something that can seem difficult at first, but with practice, patience, and the right approach, anyone can improve. English is spoken in many countries and is often used in business, travel, and education. So learning to speak English well can open many doors in life. One of the most important things to remember when learning to speak English is not to be afraid of making mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, especially when learning a new language. It's a natural part of the process. When you make mistakes, you learn from them and get better. If you're too worried about being perfect, it might stop you from speaking at all. Don't let the fear of mistakes hold you back. Instead, use it as motivation to keep trying. Start by practicing simple conversations. You don't need to know every word in English to begin speaking. Start small. For example, you can practice by greeting someone, asking how they are, or talking about your day. The more you speak, the more comfortable you will become. You can talk about topics you are familiar with, like your hobbies, family, or work. This helps you build confidence. Listening is another important part of learning to speak English. Before you can speak well, you need to understand how the language sounds. Listen to people speaking English in real life, on TV, or online. This will help you learn how words are pronounced and how sentences are put together. The more you listen, the more you will start to recognize common phrases and words. When listening, try to pay attention to how native speakers form sentences. They often use contractions like I'm instead of I am, or you're instead of you, or learning these small details will help your English sound more natural. You might not catch everything at first, but over time your brain will get used to the rhythm and flow of the language. One tip for speaking English is to think in English. This can be difficult at first, especially if your first language is very different. But by trying to think in English, you can avoid the habit of translating every word in your head. Translating takes time and can make it harder to speak fluently. Even if you don't know all the words, thinking in English helps you practice forming sentences in your mind, which will eventually make speaking easier. Another way to improve your English is by reading. Reading helps you see how words and sentences are used. It's also a great way to learn new vocabulary. Try reading simple books or articles at first. If you come across a word you don't know, try to figure out its meaning by looking at the words around it. This will improve your understanding of English without needing to stop and check a dictionary every time. When you learn new words, try to use them in your conversations. This will help you remember them better. If you just learn new words but don't use them, you might forget them quickly. Practice using new vocabulary in sentences, and over time, it will become a natural part of your speech. Pronunciation is an important part of speaking English clearly. Sometimes, people know a lot of words but are hard to understand because their pronunciation is not clear. Practice saying difficult words out loud. You can use online tools or apps that help you learn the correct pronunciation. It also helps to speak slowly and clearly. If you try to speak too fast, it can be hard for others to understand you, and you might make more mistakes. Finding someone to practice with can also make a big difference. If you have a friend or family member who speaks English, ask them to practice with you. If not, you can find language exchange partners online or join English-speaking groups in your area. The more you practice with real people, the better your English will become. Don't be discouraged if you don't see progress right away. Learning to speak English takes time. Some days will be better than others, but every bit of practice helps. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Even being able to hold a short conversation in English is a great achievement. The key is to keep practicing and not give up. A good strategy to improve your English is to set small, achievable goals. For example, you could decide to learn 5 new words each week or practice speaking for 10 minutes a day. Setting goals like these can keep you motivated and help you track your progress. Every goal you achieve will bring you closer to being fluent in English. Another tip is to pay attention to common phrases. Native speakers often use phrases like "how are you" or "what's up." Learning these phrases will help you sound more natural and help you understand what others are saying. It's important to learn the phrases that people use in everyday conversations because sometimes they don't speak in full sentences. For example, instead of saying "I do not know," they might just say "dunno." It's also useful to practice speaking in different situations. You might feel comfortable talking to friends but find it hard to speak English in a formal setting like at work or in a classroom. Try to practice in different environments so that you can feel confident no matter where you are. For example, you can practice ordering food at a restaurant, asking for directions, or introducing yourself at a meeting. When you're learning English, it's important to stay patient with yourself. Progress might be slow at times, but that's okay. Don't compare yourself to others who might be better at English than you are. Everyone learns at their own pace. Focus on your own journey and the progress you've made so far. One more tip is to use technology to help you. There are many apps, websites, and videos that can help you improve your English. You can use them to learn new words, practice pronunciation, or even talk to native speakers. Some apps let you practice speaking by repeating sentences, which can be a great way to improve your fluency. It's also helpful to keep a journal in English. Write down your thoughts, your plans for the day, or what you did yesterday. Writing helps you organize your thoughts and practice forming sentences. Plus, it's a good way to review what you've learned. Over time, you'll see how much your writing improves, and this will boost your confidence in speaking. If you're having trouble with certain parts of English, don't be afraid to ask for help. Whether it's a teacher, a friend, or an online community, there are many people who are happy to help you learn. Sometimes just having someone explain a difficult concept can make a big difference. Practicing English with native speakers can also help you understand cultural differences. For example, in some cultures it's common to speak very directly, while in others people might be more polite or indirect in their language. Understanding these differences will help you communicate more effectively in English and avoid misunderstandings. Another good way to practice speaking English is by talking to yourself. It might feel a bit strange at first, but it's a great way to practice forming sentences and using new words. For example, you can describe what you're doing as you go about your day or talk about how you're feeling. This kind of practice can help you get more comfortable with speaking English, even if no one else is around. Watching movies or TV shows in English is another fun way to improve your speaking skills. You can turn on the subtitles to help you understand and try repeating some of the lines. This will help you learn how people speak in different situations and improve your pronunciation. It's also a great way to learn informal language and slang, which can be very useful in everyday conversations. Remember that learning to speak English is a journey. It takes time, effort, and patience, but the rewards are worth it. Every day that you practice, you get a little bit better. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, and don't be afraid to speak. The more you use English, the more natural it will feel. Even though learning English can be challenging, it's important to stay positive. Try to enjoy the process of learning and see every mistake as a chance to improve. Celebrate your successes, no matter how small, and keep pushing yourself to get better. Over time, you'll find that speaking English becomes easier and more fun. It's also a good idea to practice speaking with people from different places. English is spoken in many countries, and the way people speak it can vary. By talking to people from different backgrounds, you can learn about different accents and ways of speaking. This will make you a better communicator and help you understand different types of English. If you're feeling stuck or frustrated with your progress, try changing your approach. Sometimes, trying a new method can make a big difference. For example, if you've been studying vocabulary from a textbook, try learning new words by watching videos or listening to music. If you've been practicing alone, try finding a conversation partner. Keep experimenting until you find what works best for you. It's also important to practice speaking English regularly. Just like with any skill, the more you practice, the better you will become. Try to make English a part of your daily life. Speak it as often as you can, even if it's just for a few minutes a day. Over time, you'll notice that it becomes easier and more natural. If you're learning English for work, it's important to focus on the vocabulary and phrases that are relevant to your job. For example, if you work in a restaurant, practice how to take orders and talk to customers. If you work in an office, practice how to give presentations and write emails. Focusing on the language that you'll actually use will make your learning more effective. Don't forget to practice your listening skills as well. Speaking and listening go hand in hand. The more you listen to English, the better you will understand how to respond in conversations. You can listen to podcasts, news, or even songs in English to improve your listening skills. Try to focus on understanding the main ideas, even if you don't catch every single word. Another tip for speaking English is to be patient with native speakers. Sometimes they might speak very quickly or use slang or idioms that are hard to understand. If you don't understand something, don't be afraid to ask them to repeat or explain it. Most people are happy to help, especially if they know you're learning. As you practice more, you'll start to notice patterns in the language. For example, you'll see that certain words often go together, or that certain phrases are used in specific situations. Paying attention to these patterns can help you speak more naturally and improve your understanding of the language. When learning to speak English, it's also important to practice different types of conversations. Sometimes you'll have casual conversations with friends, and other times you'll need to speak more formally. Practicing both types of conversations will help you feel more comfortable in different situations. If you feel shy about speaking English, try practicing in front of a mirror. This can help you get used to speaking without feeling nervous. You can also record yourself speaking and listen to the recording to see how you sound. This will help you identify areas where you can improve and track your progress over time. One thing that can help you stay motivated is to remind yourself of why you're learning English. Maybe you want to travel, get a better job, or connect with people from different cultures. Keeping your goals in mind will help you stay focused and motivated, even when the learning process feels challenging. It's also important to be kind to yourself. Learning a new language is hard, and it's okay to make mistakes. Instead of getting frustrated when you make a mistake, try to see it as a learning opportunity. Every mistake you make brings you one step closer to fluency. Speaking English with confidence comes from practice and experience. The more you speak, the more confident you will become. You don't have to be perfect to communicate effectively. Focus on making yourself understood, and over time your skills will improve. In conclusion, learning to speak English is a rewarding journey that takes time, effort, and patience. By practicing regularly, setting small goals, and staying positive, you can improve your speaking skills and gain confidence. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, and remember that every bit of progress is something to be proud of. Keep practicing, and soon you'll be able to communicate in English with ease.